Guys, we are super excited for today's collab, mostly because it's all about summer, which is my favorite season of the year. We're going to be doing a summer decor collab. We're going to put the link below. Today, we're going to be working on a $10 thrift store makeover. We're blending, we're stamping. It's going to be super fun.
I've got a pint of white linen mixed up in my HVLP sprayer and running about 65 PSI. I've got just 1 teaspoon and maybe a little bit more water than that to thin it down. It doesn't need a whole lot. It comes pretty thin, got a built-in sealer. So once I'm done spraying this, these cubbies will be finished.
So we're gonna be blending 2 colors today. We have French millinery, which is like a lavender color with gray undertones, and then crinoline. So I'm gonna start with the base coat. I'm gonna use my little dipper and get French millinery, put on here. So Zeb wanted to blend, and I told him I'll do the base coat and you can blend it in. So we're using crinoline and the smoothie, and Zeb's going to paint.
I'm actually going to start at the top and work my way down, and then it's going to fade in, and I might have to get some more of the
French millinery.
Yes, I wanted to call it crinoline for whatever reason.
French crinoline.
Yeah, the French crinoline.
And I love when I'm blending, especially like, I don't know, just these soft colors. I actually really love crinoline because it's not as like sharp as a super bright white. I don't know, for blending.
This is my first time blending with this brush, so we'll see how it goes.
You're actually not doing at all what I would have pictured for blending, so I'm actually curious what you're doing, so we'll see.
So what I want to do is almost like an ombre, but not an ombre. I'm going to start bright up top here, and about midway, it's going to blend into the French millinery.
So we're going to call it ombre ombre.
Top, darker on the bottom.
Okay.
And then we're going to do some fun stuff. You want to show them what we have planned with the Pennsylvania folk art?
So we're going lighter because Zeb is going to be stamping with the Pennsylvania folk art and then painting it in and then stamping over the top. So that's what's going to be happening at the end. We just thought this would be a fun, summery piece. We want to use a little bit bolder colors on the stamp, which is why we went kind of neutral on the base, kind of a Swedish Scandinavian design.
You know what I need you to do? Can you go pick out some colors and for the stamps?
So there are all these delicious colors here. I'm going to have to pick out which ones I want to go with. And it's hard because I don't normally use like primary colors, but I'm thinking marquee, blue, iris, cake batter. I don't know, maybe cake batter is too queen bee. And we already have French millinery, maybe petticoat pink and farm fresh. I don't know. I might have to mix these a little to get the colors I want, but I think these 5 are gonna work well.
So this is where the blending starts happening. I'm just gonna start putting this on kind of light. Then I use the mister bottle to kind of smooth it out. I didn't want it necessarily to be drippy, but I'm gonna show you how I fix that here in a little bit. But so far, I'm liking how this is. All right, I'm pretty happy with this. It looks a little streaky right now, but once it dries, I'm gonna come back with a little more crinoline up top and just almost like a dry brush over the top of that. And then once we distress it, I think that'll be pretty good. First coat's on here of the blending. I'm gonna go back in and smooth this up. I let it dry because it was just starting to get real thin and run on me. So happy with this side. Need to do a little more feathering, but then the front looks pretty good. Maybe just some light sanding to smooth that out. But this side, you see all my brush strokes and stuff. I need to do more work over here. I need to come back in with some more crinoline up top and fade it down, and that should fix the problem. All right, I'm losing the shade, but I wanted to show you guys this. It's gonna start drying out too fast on me once we're out of the shade. But I'm coming back with the French millinery from the bottom up. This is all dry, and I want to get rid of some of my watery streaks because sometimes the drips and the streaky look is really awesome and it just goes really well with the blended piece. But we're trying to emulate kind of like an old Mora clock, like a Scandinavian look, even though that it's the Pennsylvania folk art. I feel like there's a lot of similarities there. So I'm just going to get rid of these runny, drippy water parts right here. I actually really love them. I think they look cool, but for the look, we want it to be a little cleaner. the Scandinavians do very neat, precise work. No drips in their paint jobs. Once my brush is almost to a point of like a dry brush, I'm just right here, just right at the edge, just feathering back up in. And mostly coming from the bottom up so that I don't get any streaks where I don't want them. And then that should be good. So the sun was drying my paint too fast. I'm pretty much done with the water. I've got 220 grit sandpaper. I'm just gonna lightly right here where the transition is, get rid of some of these brushy strokes. The paint blending is all done. I am getting ready to do the Pennsylvania Folk stamp from Iron Orchid Designs. And we're gonna do some hand painting inside the stamp. We'll see how that goes. I've been left to my own devices. Jami had to run Redrick to the orthodontist, so you get me this afternoon, and I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do and finish this up. I'm trying to put the design so it kind of runs this way, and we'll see what we can do. I think Jami mentioned that she was going to use Blue Iris, but we ended up with some Hay Sailor.
So normally I would just use a brayer and bray the paint on my stamp, but Zeb didn't have a brayer, so he just painted the paint on a board and stamped right into it, and it worked great.
Switching brushes again, I've got the Turquoise Iris Insider.
I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing until my lungs give out. I'm gonna let the sun shine in today, and I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of people talking and the wind blowing in the trees. Oh, I will, darkness starts to fade, feels like things are good.
Okay, so instead of doing the whole board, I'm just gonna dab over there and get this as wet as I can because the clay paint dries pretty quickly. I'm not worried about getting it off of the design because it's pretty raised. I'm just gonna only press on the design and we'll see what we get. That looks pretty good. All right, I've got to go quick so that this doesn't dry out. I'm just holding it kind of in the corner there, pressing on my design, trying not to shift it. I like that. That turned out pretty cool. Sometimes when you're doing your piece, you got to stand back a little bit and look at it. And I feel like I need more floral on there. So on the stamp, this part here made that flower here. I think I'm gonna do another one right there next to it. But I need to wash my pad off first. Pad, stick that in the corner as my reference.
Gonna let the sun shine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing until my lungs give out. I'm gonna let the sun shine.
Okay, so I started the fronts, but Zeb's finishing them for me. And we're gonna just keep just the border up here and just the colored part down there. But I think this kind of helps bring some balance. All right, so we're putting the last stamp on. We're just using the tiniest flower in the set for the knob. Tiny flower, let's see what happens. Cute. All right, little commercial break here. We sell these IOD envelopes. They come 3 in a package for $9.95 and they fit your stamps and everything perfectly. So much easier than trying to shove it back in the original packaging. That doesn't happen very easily. So just wanted to let you guys know because I've not really talked about them before. And you get 3 of them for $9.95. I'll drop the link in the description box below in case you have some stamps to organize. So I wanted to distress the stamps a little bit. You got to be careful because the paint will powder. So Zeb's gonna distress it and then wipe it back carefully.
Dry. You wipe it back dry with a dry paper towel or cloth or something, and you won't have any issues.
So you have to ignore the messy barn, but you don't want to seal in straight sunshine, otherwise you get a weird finish. So, oh, are you using gloss? Do you want to do it shiny?
Is that gloss?
It's gloss.
How do you know?
Because it says gloss right there.
Oh, gloss. No, I don't want to use gloss. I want to use matte.
Okay, we're gonna get the matte sealer. We're gonna swap that out, and we're going to seal this with our sprayer. Now, you could brush it. If you were going to brush it, I would go soft over anywhere where you have different colors of paint. Let it dry completely, and then you can do a little bit more aggressive, I guess you could say, but just be careful, because if you push too hard and overwork it, you will smear the paint. So I went inside and grabbed the mat. Now, are we gonna add water or just spray it straight?
No water needed on this. Spray it straight. It's already very thin. The new formula is designed to go on super thin, self-leveling, and it's amazing and dries rock hard.
So Zeb's gonna be using Sweet Pickins Final Finishes in matte. I'm not sure if I said that, so I'm like, I probably should say it now because people will ask. All right, you guys, for the paint and products we used today, you can visit JamiRayVintage.com. Stay tuned for close-ups. This was hard to photograph, but I got the best video I could of it. And if you have any questions, comment them down below. Don't forget, we're gonna drop the link to all the summer decor collab videos that are involved. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY.